A snowstorm Saturday night knocks out power and fells trees and branches. Plus, local officials are working on the issue of substance abuse that is plaguing our community. These stories and more on this episode of Barnstable Today. It's Tuesday, February 18th, 2014. I'm Sarah Colvin. Well, a coating of white is back over Barnstable thanks to the latest winter storm that blew through over the weekend. Chief of Police Paul McDonald says many residents had to deal with the loss of power on Saturday night.
I have a conversation with NSTAR. At one time, we're up to about 6,000 or 7,000 residents without power. Most of them got the power back very, very quickly. By 9 o'clock Sunday morning, we were down to about 1,200. By 1 o'clock in the afternoon, it was down to 400. And by Sunday night, just about everybody in town back had the power on. It was a significant snowfall. It was wet. It was heavy. However, we did not have the winds that they expected, so I think that that helped us out dramatically. So all in all, it was we fared pretty well.
Downed trees were also a problem.
There was a lot of damage. A lot of tree limbs were knocked down. Probably the most significant one was in Main Street, Weano Avenue in Oxford, right by the Oxford Library. A significant branch, probably 3 feet in diameter, fell and completely blocked the road. And as of yesterday afternoon, half was still there blocking one lane. Hopefully, DPW will have that removed by today.
Assistant DPW Director Rob Steen emphasizes that the storm caused a number of tree issues.
Quite a bit, actually. It was pretty amazing as we were sitting in the operations center as the night went on. There came a point in time when they just started to go, and the tree calls just started coming in one after the other. And what I mean by tree calls is the plow guys, as they're out plowing, will start calling them in as they're seeing them. And so we immediately pulled off plow routes and pulled into the tree crews, 2 tree crews, and they went nonstop all night long, going tree to tree to tree to tree. Priority being just getting the roads open, because there was a number of roads in the middle of the night that were just flat out blocked. Finney's Lane, for instance, had 2 or 3 sections that were just blocked. So we were just trying to get roads open and busted through. If the limb was in the road but you could get around it, we were sort of ignoring it to get the roads open. But once we did that, then we started to go back and pick away at the other ones. And right now, I think we're getting pretty
Steen says this storm brought new challenges.
It's kind of amazing. This is my first year here as assistant director, and every storm has been different. This one has been very different than the previous 2. Due to the temperatures and the fact that the snow was wetter and heavier, it just made for a completely different complexion to the storm. We had a lot more trees down. We had a lot more power lines and cable and phone lines down. So it kind of changed how we approached it, thus making for a different cleanup.
He says a rapidly changing forecast also made for tricky work.
One thing that caught us on this one is that all forecasts had predicted this storm was going to start as rain. So we were anticipating a good hour or 2 of rain before it shifted to snow. And in fact, it came in as snow right from the get-go. So what that resulted in is that the plan had been to just do what we call a single cut, which is to just sort of get salt on the roads, but only one pass. Let the rain come through, hopefully not wash too much of it off, and then get into the snow. Instead, if we had known it was going to start just as snow, we'd have probably double cut the roads right off the bat, which is 2 passes, which puts a lot more material on the road sitting there. And that then helps down the line prevent the hard pack that you end up seeing on some of the roads at the end of the storm, which we're now working to get up and off. And
work still remains for DPW crews.
Some of this stuff is pretty cemented there. So we're continuing to put material on it and continuing to hit it with plows, try to get it busted up and get it up. The other advantage we have is as the week goes on, it's supposed to just increase in temperatures, with temperatures potentially even reaching 50 degrees on Friday, so that will help us.
And of course, winter's not over yet. More wintry weather is expected.
Forecasts to date are pointing towards today being mostly rain. There'll be a rain-snow mix over, but mostly rain, and then warm weather coming in with periods of rain throughout the week, but it all being warmer during the days. So that should help out. That should get the roads cleaned up. And then the question is what happens just with the residual snowpack you see around your yards, and we're hoping to lose a bit of that as
Steen
well.
has thanks and praise for the crews that worked through the night to clear the roads.
Yeah, we're very lucky. We've got some very talented people that work extremely hard. It never ceases to amaze me as I watch all night long. These guys just go and go and go. They don't ask for much in return. They just, give them a quick sandwich and away they go again. So, no, credit to them. They worked their butts off, and we're going to get there.
Meanwhile, substance abuse issues continue to create a problem in our community. Chief of Police Paul McDonald says arrests were made in connection with drug activity this weekend.
Made 2 significant arrests within the past week. One up in both individuals were dealing out of Hyannis. However, they followed one with the Boston area, and the arrest was subsequently made. In Wareham, Candace Johnson and Jonathan DePina was arrested for trafficking in cocaine. And then later on in the week, 2 more individuals were arrested, Kurt Caskey and Brianna Butler. They too were dealing heroin in downtown Hyannis. They too were followed up to Everett. And then when they returned back to Mashpee, they were subsequently arrested. So because of the epidemic that's out there, we're trying to put the pressure on anybody who we think is dealing any type of narcotics out
Drug
there.
overdoses, especially from heroin, are at record numbers this winter.
Today, probably for the first of the year, we have approximately 13 overdoses that is directly attributed to heroin. Now, we have some other overdoses with different types of narcotics and alcohol, but what's most concerning is 2 of those overdoses has resulted in death. One this past Saturday night, a 48-year-old male in Hyannis overdosed, and then last Saturday night, a 24-year-old male in Osterville overdosed, both on heroin. We are checking the heroin. The heroin, some of it is laced with fentanyl, and some of it is a very, very pure form of heroin.
Chief McDonald says the overdoses are not happening in one specific sector of the population.
It is definitely not limited to one section. It's straight across the board. Particularly it's heroin. There are some other forms of narcotics being used, and they are overdosing on it, but primarily 90% of it is heroin.
The chief says the high price of pills and the low price of heroin is a big reason for the number of overdoses.
An Oxy 30 at one point was going for approximately $30. Now it's going for as high as $50 to $55. Obviously, that's pricing a lot of individuals out of the market. So now they are turning to heroin, which is it seems to be more readily available and a lot cheaper. And one of the things they are looking at is because it's cheaper, are they buying too much?
McDonald says police and fire are getting together this week to talk about the problem.
This Wednesday, tomorrow, 11 o'clock, the police department is meeting with all 5 of the fire departments. We have a informational meeting with Learn to Cope. I'm the same organization that helped out Yarmouth. And they're focusing on 3 separate sections on this, overdose signs and symptoms, rescue breathing, and to administering nasal Narcan. Once we do that, we hope to have some informational sessions out there and to invite the entire community in there. Granted, this is reactive and is proactive. It's not to deal with the addiction, but if you know somebody, a family member, is an addict, these are signs to watch. And if something does happen, this is what you can do to save the individual's life.
Police will continue to deal with enforcement. Meanwhile, Barnstable's Director of Leisure Services, Patty Machado, has been working with the Youth Commission on the issue, hoping to get to kids before drugs become a problem in their lives.
And I'm really not sure, and I don't have all the answers, but I can't see how we can't, as a community, if we're all sitting at the table, we can't come up with some sort of strategy, at least to work forward and move forward so that we can help make our community a little healthier. And it's nice that we're sitting down. It's really impressive that the youth are the ones that are saying, hey, we need to do something. Can you help us? We need that to happen. And the Youth Commission had met with the Student Council, who said that that was their #1 concern. We met with the police department. We've met with the schools. They've met with now with the Human Services Commission. And we have Jen Cullum, who's their liaison, who's really helped them feel empowered and understand that they can make a difference by getting involved, and we can if everybody's. So we've got the youth, we've got the schools, we've got the police, we've got the community, human services, all at the table, but we need the parents as well. And we had the DA there involved in it as well at this meeting yesterday, and we have a lot of programs, it seems, that are out there, but we can't seem to get the kids to them, or we don't know how to get them to them. It's like it's the cool thing not to go to these programs. It's not the cool thing to go to the program. So we need to be more creative, and I think having the kids at the table and letting them tell us what their needs are and how to draw.
The Youth Commission's annual Family Fun Night geared toward a healthy and happy lifestyle takes place at the HYCC next Friday night. With Barnstable Today, I'm Sarah Colvin.